Hey you, this is not my usual kind of video, but this short popped up the other day. I didn't push play, but it started playing and I started watching this guy. And while I was watching him talk, I thought to myself, gosh, his mouth doesn't move like a man's mouth. And that may sound a little bit odd, but it just struck me that his mouth had a sort of more feminine quality to it. Now, I know we live in a world with some pretty strange stuff going on. So I thought to myself, well, have I actually ever seen Elon without a shirt on? The guy's about 50 years old, 6 foot thereabouts, it's hard to be sure, and apparently weighs somewhere around 80 kilos, maybe 90 kilos. I've done a little bit of research on that. Hard to get a fix on it. What is also surprising for a kid of that era, and obviously of his fame, is that there are so few pictures of his younger years. Um, and even fewer of the billionaire on holiday. You would think that even as busy as everybody believes him to be, there'd be time for holidays here and there. I did notice there always seems to be some eye candy on his side or very close to the shots, I guess to distract guys from looking too deeply. I should preface this by saying this is not an exercise in body shaming. I'm not into body shaming. I carry a little bit of extra weight now and then myself, and I realize people have different physiques, and it doesn't bother me what someone's physique is, but I think this is more than just about someone's physique. What I'm going to show to you or try and demonstrate to you is that what you're looking at is not Elon Musk's real torso. You're looking at a latex bodysuit. Most of these kinds of investigations focus on size of hands and shoulder ratio and so on, and I could point to some things that might be off with that, but I'm not going to bother with any of that stuff. This is really just about, is the guy wearing a latex bodysuit, and if he is, why? Perhaps it's some kind of Iron Man bulletproof vest he's wearing. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to bother the good-looking ladies that follow him around. Fanboys will hate this, but really I think that it's important to try and break the spell that people are under, that this guy is some kind of demigod. Might not even be male. Okay, so this was the first photo I saw, and I am a study of the human form, the physique. I used to be a fitness instructor, so I understand the human body fairly well visually. But I quickly noticed the belly button seemed a little bit off to me, or a little unusual, shall we say. And for a guy who's carried a little bit of gut fat, I know my trousers, my shorts would there would be a little bit of a fat roll hanging over the top. Whereas this Adonis belt and the abs, the stomach, it doesn't seem to be indenting at all with the shorts on. It started to make me think, whoa, is that real? So I started looking for a few other clues. And I was surprised by the proudness of his chest cavity. It seems like it's possible to have such a big chest cavity, but that would be attributed to a guy who's done generally a lot of heavy weights in the gym, which Elon claims none of that. Then I noticed some Tim Peake style creases in the trousers, when Tim Peake used to pretend to be up in space and doing all loop-de-loop. Well, these trousers have got this crease in it quite often. I flummoxed me for a while until I realized, is it possible that these are leggings, and when they've been pulled up, they've snagged his shorts? And you can see here that seems to be above that line. You can see what appears to be another line crease running above that. And when you look at that closely, you wonder whether that isn't the bottom of the torso uniform that he's wearing. These are literally the only photos of Elon Musk ever being on holiday, and he was panned for being so white. And as a fellow South African, I have to say that a white boy that looked that white is pretty rare. And his other skin tones don't lend that kind of whiteness to his skin. As a study of body movement, I did note this photograph as unusual in that the back and torso are very erect, very upright, rather than leaning into. When you're a little bit overweight, you're going to lean into a stair as steep as the one he's about to climb. But he's holding himself very straight up and down, as if the bodysuit wouldn't handle the bending. From afar, this just looks like a little bit of a fat guy toweling himself off. And you know, if a guy of 6'1" or whatever, with that amount of lump on his gut, there's no way he's under 90 kilograms. You're heading towards 100 kilograms, towards 200 pounds, 210 pounds, not 180 as they say. Total absence of chest hair, body, well, no body hair to be seen here at all. Not okay again, you know, not that. You know, it does. You do find guys like that, but it's very unusual to have no leg hair, no chest hair, and even the armpit seems a little bit off to me. Hard to tell with this resolution, but it seems darker under there, as if the costume is worn through. And this is another example of the costume wearing through. So here he is getting out of the sea, having had a swim, famously. When you look up close at the forearm, what do you notice? Fans will say he was defending his crew from a marauding shark up against some coral reef. But this looks like a tear in the outfit. And if you look closely at the hand, you'll see what seems to be running around to his thumb will be the connecting point for this suit. Another apparent suit anomaly would be here around the neck. Again, this is easier to excuse. It could be excused as water flowing down his neck. But you can make your own mind up on that. Well, whatever you think of the erect nipple Elon, it does seem like there is something afoot here. I'm not going to say, but I would suggest that there is something covered up. And what would you need to cover up underneath a fake torso? A man wouldn't need to do that. Perhaps a woman would. Someone who had to hide another body shape underneath that. Crazy idea, huh? Just putting it out there. And did you know the savior of the world is balding? Took me by surprise. Or is that just another costume failure? Which might also explain the strange lump just above and around his ear. Yeah, it's a curious world we live in. So I'll say cheers from Nolene, and cheers from me, Trinity 4, lovetruthsovereignty.com.